Hi, my name is Rob Anderson. I'm the product training and demo exec for Pioneer DJ UK. Today we're up at GetintheMix, filming some videos for GetintheMix.com, and the first one we're going to show you is the DJM-900 SRT, how this works in conjunction with Serato DJ, as well as using it with the DDJ-SP1. Enjoy. So, the DJM-900 SRT. Now, anyone who's ever used the existing DJM-900 Nexus will be completely familiar with the layout of this unit. This has been pretty much standard in nightclubs around the world for 2-3 years, the DJM-900 Nexus. So, this is the exact same footprint as the existing mixer, the exact same layout, same spec. The only difference on this is it's got a brand new 24-bit 96 kHz Serato certified sound card, hence the name SRT. It also has a bit of an aesthetic rework as well. So we've now got a matte black finish on the top plate of the unit. We've also got blue LEDs featured across the unit as well. So just so you can tell the difference between the Nexus and the SRT version, and also bringing it a bit more current, a bit more up to speed. So, what does this actually do? What is the actual differences between the two? So, I'm connected via USB on here, straight into my laptop on here, running Serato DJ. Now, this was the first mixer on the market, the first club spec mixer to have this Serato certification. So, as soon as I connect my USB directly run into my laptop with Serato DJ, that's going to act as my dongle. That's going to bring my Serato DJ software to life. No need for an external audio interface, no need for the SL box that you used to have to use with Scratch Live. The mixer does this all for you. So it's an internal 4-in, 4-out, 24-bit 96 kHz sound card, extremely high Pioneer quality sound card that's going to deliver timecode for us as well. At the moment, in this setup, I'm using a Pioneer CDJ-2000 and a CDJ-900 Nexus. Now, this could be any kind of multi-format player. This could be an old school CDJ-1000. This could be a turntable in this setup with this mixer. Whatever media you decide to send timecode via, whether that's CDs or timecode vinyls or USB or even SD, as I'm going to do in this demo, it's completely irrelevant. The mixer will pick up the audio of the timecode in a pretty standard way. So I'm running into the digital inputs from the CDJs at the moment on channels 2 and 3. I'm going to go into my SD card, jump into folder and load up my Serato DJ timecode and hit play. Now you're going to hear standard timecode. So if anyone's never heard that noise before, that whining is pretty much the standard noise that a timecode signal makes. It's only when I switch my input selection on the mixer to USB up at the top here, you can see straight away on my software the virtual decks change from through mode, where I'd be playing normal CDs or USB, to being active. So the software is now good to receive the signal. Let me just talk a bit about the channel before I actually jump on to actually playing some tracks. So I'm going to focus on channels 2 and 3 and I'm going to scan upwards. So again, a bit of an aesthetic rework on the fader caps. If anyone's used the DJM-900 before, on the existing Nexus version, these were black. These are now silver on this unit. We've also incorporated a scratch fader. As this is the Serato version, and a lot of scratch DJs, hip-hop DJs tend to adopt Serato as their method of DJing, then a scratch fader, the same as the DJM-T1, is featured into here. So certified for 10,000 fades. These are also P-lock fader caps, which means they don't come off when you're mixing. No need to worry about these pinging off into the crowd. Jumping up, we've got our colour pots across here, 4 colour pots, which allow us to activate one of our 6 sound colour effects over on the left. We'll jump onto them in a minute as well. 3-band isolator EQ, the option to have these as standard EQ or isolator, brought into play on the DJM-2000 and also spec'd on the full DJM range now. So let's jump to isolator. Then of course we've got the standard trim pots at the top in grey, and then a slight difference on here. If you look across the 4 channels, of course, we've got our digital inputs. High quality digital resolution can be received from this mixer, depending what source you're playing from. CD line, phono inputs, and USB. But where this differs from the Nexus is we've got 4 phono inputs. For turntablists, Serato Scratch Live and the new Serato DJ timecode version has masses of DJs still using a turntable approach to this kind of DJing. So this mixer allows these kind of DJs to actually run 4 turntables into this at once, perfect for battle setups and DMC style setups. Okay, so let me jump back to USB input on the mixer, and you can see the software that I've loaded 2 tracks into, decks 1 and 2, is now good to receive the timecode. As soon as I hit play on the CDJ, that's going to send timecode into channel 2. The mixer is going to interpret that timecode signal, send through the USB cable for my Serato DJ software to pick up. And any movement on the CDJ, any looping, any hot cues, any transport controls, any tempo adjust or pitch bend is all going to be picked up by the software. Now, this is a timecode system, and of course I've got a hell of a lot of control and a lot of effects on this mixer that I'm now going to take you through as soon as I start running this track. But I don't have the hands-on control over the software at the moment. So the way I've loaded these tracks into the software is by using my mouse on my computer. And we want to get away from using the computer at all. We want to use the screen as a display, but not touch the keyboard, not touch the mouse. So there's another unit that sits in conjunction with this setup, and that is the DDJ-SP1, which I've got set up just to the side. So once I've explained the effects, I'm going to jump on and show you exactly how that unit can help us in this kind of setup as well. So let's get it running. So you can hear the minute my track is running, I've got vinyl control over that, and anything I manipulate on here, you can hear the software is actually picking it up. So I'm going to leave this tune running and stick to the mixer for now and show you exactly what we've got on here. So those of you that have used the DJM-900 before, you'll be familiar with the effects as well. On the existing DJM-900 Nexus, as I said, they're the same on the SRT. Best effects engines and best sound quality engine Pioneer have produced to date. So this is my favourite mixer by a long shot. Let's start with the sound colour effects, the almost instant gratification effects and the easy effects to use. So we've got 6 to choose from. Start with filter. As soon as that's flashing, the filter is ready to be activated. Now the minute we've got audio coming through channel 2. That means if I turn the colour pot on channel 2, I'm going to hear some kind of filtering. So if I turn the pot left, we get low pass. Quite straightforward. Turn the pot right, it kills the bass, and we get high pass. Most used feature when mixing is filtering. Killing the bass, filtering out the highs, very effective. Next along we have crush. It's doing the same thing. Filtering in the same way, low pass and high pass, but with distortion as well. Next along we have white noise, giving us brilliant for dance music and electronic music, allowing you to apply impact to the tracks. The cool thing with this is, because this is an oscillator, we can actually use it on any channel, meaning you've got a lot of control over that. We've also got gates and compression, so if I turn this pot to the left, it gates out the track and only lets through certain fragments of the audio, depending how intense you bring the gate in. Dub echo, very nice, does what it says on the tin, gives you a dub style echo. And that will continue bleeding through them tails. I should also mention as well, this is a post fader effect. So you can bring the fader down and it will continue to bleed. as does the next effect, Space. This is like an explosive kind of reverb which you can either tap on as snares or increase for impact at certain key points of the track. So these are the effects you can step onto this mixer, and if you've used a DJM-800 in the past, a DJM-850, 750, 2000, any mixer in our range near enough, you can instantly know how to use these and feel quite at ease to use them in front of a crowd. The beat effects section down the side, this entire strip down here, this is giving us access to the beat effects section. So again, the highest level of effects engine capabilities we've ever produced inside a Pioneer mixer was the DJM-900 Nexus. We've now incorporated the same thing into this mixer. It's the exact same operation. The only difference is the quantized effects inside here will pick up the BPM information sent from the Serato software. So this will pick up record box information as well, just like the previous mixer, but this is the only one that will pick up BPM info from an actual piece of software. So it's quite revolutionary, really. Now, this whole strip is something you're gonna want to practice using maybe before using out in front of a crowd. But let me take you through the basics of how to use these 11 effects and the send return as well. So, I'm not gonna go through every effect, but I'll show you my favorite ones. First of all, you always start here. We need to choose an effect. So, scan through, I'm gonna start with Echo. You can see up on display, up in the beat effects display, we're seeing that we chose an Echo. We then got to choose a channel that we want to apply the effect to. So in this case, channel 2. Again, all information is present up on the display. Now in a club, in a dark venue, in a party atmosphere where you haven't got lights shining down on the mixer to show you what you're doing, this is really helpful. Next thing I'm going to do is turn my level depth down and turn my effect on. But obviously we're not going to hear it because the level depth is down. Before I bring this up, I'm actually going to jump up to this section here and use the beat effects, the beat parameter buttons. And you can see as I press this left, it's scanning through echo time templates on the display. So full beat, triplets, half beat, quarter. Let's leave it on a quarter for now. And straight away, as soon as I start fading in the level depth, we can hear the effect. So you can use this in a number of ways. We can bleed that echo in and then change the beat parameters while the echo's affecting the track. Instead of jumping from beat templates, so instead of jumping from a half beat echo to a quarter beat echo, we can use the time pot as well to go through the increments in between and get more of a loose kind of echo tail on that, which can be tightened right up if I scan right to the left. I'm going to use the filter at the same time. Take the lows out. I can tighten this right up and loosen it again. So really organic sounding echo tails that you can just use in a number of different ways. The way you can really tell how organic they're sounding, if I jump to a 2-beat echo delay, fade it up, and then take away the track, you can hear there's no distortion, no degradation to that echo tail, it's just bleeding through nicely. And of course post fader, you've seen me bringing the fader down whilst I'm using the echo, and the tails still bleed through. The next one, I'm going to show you Spiral. Now this again is a delay based effect similar to the echo, but it's exclusive to this, it's exclusive to Pioneer mixers, the Spiral effect. If I turn it on, I'm going to jump to a half beat delay, turn Spiral on, fade it up. I'm going to fade it straight up to 12 o'clock. You can hear that delay affecting the track, but if I reduce the fader, you can hear there's like a degradation to the sound that's been designed to replicate tape delay. So like an old school analog tape delay, that's what we're trying to recreate on here, and it's recreated really well, except of course we've got digital capabilities with it. So I can increase the level depth from minimum to 12 o'clock. and I get 100% echo. It's only when I increase the level depth on here, this is like a multi-function pop now. If I increase the level depth past 12 o'clock, it starts to feedback. So it's going to actually get louder. Them echoes are going to overtake the original audio source. Now the best way to show you this is to kill the fader and increase the level depth. Really cool for creating your own kind of breakdowns, for exiting a track in the mix, or creating intensity of any kind. If I turn quantize on, I know that that's never going to go out of time. Now the main difference between this and the original echo effect I showed you is when you change the beat parameters on the echo effect, you hear the echo time changing instantly, and you can jump between them quite freely and come up with some cool patterns on the echo effect. On Spiral, it works in a completely different way. If I change the beat parameter from a half a beat to a quarter beat, you're going to hear, and I'm just going to tap this once and show you, and then turn it off. You've heard the half beat delay gradually build up through the increments to a quarter beat delay, and we'll do it again backwards. From a quarter beat to half a beat. Really unique sounding. Now this can be shown even better if I create feedback and increase the beat parameter. Really nice way of exiting a track. If you have a delay running, a spiral, increase the level depth, maintain that feedback volume using the level depth pot, then you can slow the track, slow the delay tails down, catch little vocals, little percussive sounds, and completely destroy how they're sounding, completely destruct them. Now one thing I haven't touched on yet, one thing I haven't shown you, X-Pad. Now this works in a number of different ways depending what effect you're using, but it essentially is going to turn the effect on. If I touch this, you're hearing Spiral, but what it's also doing is allowing me to change the beat parameters at the same time. So I can, let's use a filter, turn the effect on. I can change that half beat delay right up to 10 milliseconds, which is now feeding back, and then take it down again. Really unique sounding effect, which never really gets old. Now, jump into reverb. The X-Pad works really well with this as well. Now the reverb is completely overhauled from the DJM-800, which was good at the time when the 800 was the industry standard mixer. We've completely remodeled the reverb sound and how it works. If I jump to 25% reverb using the beat parameter, I'm going to fade this in, and you'll hear subtle reverb on the audio. However, I usually use this with the filter as well. I'll turn the filter on in a second. If I hit the beat parameter, it increases the room size. So the room gets bigger. At that point, I can take out the low frequencies using the filter and really start to increase the reverb room size, creating like your own breakdown and creating kind of a tension on the track. You can then use the X-Pad to high pass, you can go into the right, and low pass just the reverb tail. So you can create really nice impact on drops, which can then be exited again. Like so. Really nice sounding effects. The rest of these on here, transform, filter, flanger, phaser, robot, they're all featured on the old mixers. We've also got the famous roll effect, which you can use to create nice little stuttering effects. Of course, this is quantized though, so it will never go out of time with quantize on. and a slip roll, which is really an adapted version of the original roll. If I choose a beat parameter, half a beat, and turn this on, it samples the original sound and it will repeat it over the top of the original audio. However, if I change the beat parameter on this, on slip roll, it will resample. So it's resampling the current audio coming through. So if I press this, scan through the beat parameters really quick, you're not hearing any of the sounds being rolled. It's only if I go a bit slower. Almost remixing on the fly using this whole section of effects. That's the beat section of effects. Okay, so that's using the DJM-900 SRT edition to interpret the timecode signal coming in from our audio sources and then send the timecode to the software and then in turn receive the audio back from Serato DJ. So that is a great method of DJing, you know, for the Serato timecode users out there. This completely eliminates using the external audio interface. It's all integrated into the mixer. However, the way I've been using it so far, despite all of the effects available on here, controlling the software and controlling Serato DJ up until this stage is a bit limited. That's where the new DDJ-SP1 comes in. So ideally this would be sat next to your turntables, next to your CDJs, or even maybe on a laptop stand above your mixer. And this is going to give you complete MIDI control over your software program. At the same time as doing your DJ performance over here, you can control every aspect of the software directly from here. This is essentially driving Serato DJ for you. Now, I get very used to saying this looks familiar to something else in the DJ range because, you know, Pioneer, when we figure something that works really well, we like to make it available for everyone. So this is essentially all of the MIDI controls. We've got effects control, we've got our browsing control, our hot cues, our roll, our slicer, our sampler, auto looping technology, everything that you can control in Serato DJ taken straight from our DDJ-SX unit, which is the most popular MIDI controller for Serato DJ on the market. So all of them essential features put onto the DDJ-SX, stripped off of that and put into one portable unit for timecode DJs. So let me show you how this works. Still running the same audio, the same piece of music. However, you can see my software, the Serato DJ software, has changed view. So I've actually switched the view a little bit. I'm actually going to start by, I'm not going to touch the laptop, I'm not going to touch the keyboard at all. I'm literally going to do everything from here. So you can see in white writing, we've got shift functionality. So anything you're seeing in a white square is actually allowing us a secondary option. The first option for this button is back and utility menu. However, I can also use it to switch my view. So if I hold down shift, tap my view, I can scan through the different view options available in Serato. So different waveform views, different browser views if you want to see more tracks, and then you can easily, at the touch of a button, scan through to see more of your track. We can also hold shift and access the area as well. So Serato's area view, allowing you to scan through any files or any folders, just different ways different DJs like to access their music. Of course, this rotary pot, if you've ever used a Pioneer MIDI controller before, you'll know that this allows us to scan through our tracks, our browser. If I press it down, I can jump back into the tree view and scan through my iTunes playlists, stick to nighttime. I can then hit it again, press the button and jump through. I'm going to load another track into deck 2. I'm going to leave deck 1 running, so this whole side is being left running for the moment, and then I'm accessing these 2 load buttons under here. If I hit load on the right hand side, bang, track loads up into deck 2, and it's good for me to DJ with, using the CDJ as my timecode controller. So what else have we got on here? Individual sample volume, this I'll come back to, as well as effect assign up here and deck assign as well. We'll come back to them. I'm going to focus on the tracks that's running. Of course, this side of the SP1 is designated for deck number, virtual deck number 1 up in the software. This side is designated for virtual deck number 2. So why is this so special? Why has the DDJ-SX been made so popular since its launch, and why have we decided to bring the functions from that onto here? We've got these 16 performance pads, probably the most visual and most noticeable part of this unit. These can be used in 4 different ways. Pretty standard feature with software is hot cues. So if I hit hot cue, that's illuminated, and we've got 8 hot cues to choose from. All of these unilluminated ones can be assigned, just like so, and then jump to at any point in time. If you've created them at the wrong point in time, like I clearly have there, I can just hold shift and remove them. So 8 key points you can assign, which will be called and saved onto that track, so every time you load it, they're there for you to use, instantly saved at the touch of a button. Now the next one, roll. This has been incorporated from the CDJ-2000 Nexus, so this acts as like a slip roll. While the track is playing, each of these performance pads will activate a different sized loop. As you can see, if I choose this one, straight away it's assigned an 8-beat loop. Assign the next one, 4-beat loop, 2-beat loop, 1 beat. And this allows you, as you get to the smaller loop times, to come up with some really cool stuttering sounds. And you'll hear, while I'm looping, when I let go, the track goes back to where it would have been. So the track continues to play, even though it's locked in a loop at that point in time. So these are really nice. Without a great deal of practice, you can come up with some really nice stuttering effects. Slicer. Now this is nice. You can see on the visual, the waveform on the screen has been split up into sections of audio, and the audio sections are represented on here. You can see them scanning across. We can choose which section of audio we want to repeat. Allowing you to remix that specific 8 beats of music. You can also change the speed of which this repeats by adjusting the parameter up here. If I tighten this up by moving it to the left, it will speed up the repetition. With the music. Like so. And lastly, the last method, sampler view. Now, the cool thing about these is they're velocity sensitive, and you can see velocity in a white blocked writing underneath. So if I hold shift, hit sampler, they then become velocity sensitive sample triggers. On the software, of course, you can't actually see your samples until you change your panel select using here. Anyone that's used Serato before will be familiar with changing the panels. So if I hold down shift, I'm going to scan through the different panel options available. It's basically an additional view. You can see I have the record view, jump again, I've got my effects view, and then we've got the sample trigger view. So we've got 4 banks of samples, banks A, B, C and D, all of which these banks can have 6 samples in each. And you can see the volume control up on the screen is depending on how hard I hit the sample. If you're not too good with velocity sensitive controls, you can turn that off and just have standard sampler, but then use your sample volume control here to control the volume of each sample. As well as the controls I've just shown you, the methods of using these 16 performance pads, we've got shift functionality for hot loop, auto loop and manual loop as well. In fact, let's jump into an auto loop straight away. As this track's about to run out, I can jump into a instant auto loop, and then this percussive element of the track that's rolling isn't going to run out, that's going to continue going. Now this takes me onto the sync buttons. Obviously I'm giving a demo, I've got no headphones on, so I'm going to hit sync as I bring in the next track and hit play over on the CDJ here, and actually start mixing out whilst we're live, just to show you the functionality this gives you. Let's tighten up the loop we were hearing. Now, anyone who's used Serato in the past will probably be familiar with the effects that were always present on the existing software platforms, and they've been completely overhauled in this version of the software. Serato DJ's effects section has been completely designed by iZotope, and anyone who knows about production plugins will know iZotope are extremely high-end, extremely professional quality production plugins. So it's nice to have this whole section up here, Effects Bank 1 and Effects Bank 2, created by iZotope. Now I'm going to change the panel select again to Effects View, and you can see now we've got a different view, and we can use these 4 pots and these 4 buttons to assign Effects Bank 1 to our decks using Effect Assign here. So let's have a listen. Jump to a delay. So let's turn that on. Using this rotary, I can bring in the delay. I can change the echo time over here. So, you know, if you're not fortunate enough to be using Serato DJ with the DJM-900, with all of its, you know, all singing, all dancing effects, then these are also really good. The next one along, version echo. Really nice sounding, along with the delay tail bleeding through at the end. If you want to change the effect, you can literally just hold down shift, say I don't want to use flanger, and jump through any of these. Jump to pan delay, turn it on, increase the echo or the level depth, change the beat parameter, even use 2 or 3 at once. Like so. So complete MIDI control of the software program, you know, MIDI control that you would only get from using Serato DJ with a MIDI controller, and a really nice addition to the timecode DJ. Okay, so that's the DJM-900 SRT in conjunction with Serato DJ and the DDJ-SP1. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.